I brushed up against being deported. I was so close. I was so close to being deported. I think I told this story on the podcast. I got to have my buddy on Street on. I thought I was going to tell the same story with Damo, the dingo from down under. We were going to have a conversation early on in this podcast, but we didn't get a chance to do it. So my buddy Damo, the dingo, was an RA, and we were very tight friends. And my friend Street and I, as we got into the summer season, October, November, we got a couple of squirt guns down at the Big W, which is the Walmart in Australia. That's how close it is to the United States. They don't even really change the name. It's Walmart or the Big W. Burger King, instead of being Burger King, it's Hungry Jack's. It's like so close to America. But there are some very big differences. One of the big differences about Australia is they don't have guns. None of the people have guns. If you've been following any of the current events and what's been going on since 2010 until now in Australia, you would understand that some of the clampdowns of the government are particularly because the individuals don't have a right to bear arms. So when I picked up these squirt guns on a hot day, a hot day in Melbourne, Australia, mate. G'day, how you going? I text my mate, my RA mate, and we say, we got a couple of guns. We're going to come stick you up. And that is something you cannot text an RA in Australia when he's on duty, because now he has an obligation, because there are no guns. When someone says they got a gun and they're coming looking for you, and they're going to get you, to alert the authorities. So I come home from the Melbourne Victoria Marketplace, biggest farmer's market in the entire world. I'm coming back with a shopping cart full of fresh groceries. Me and Street are going to make a meal, and the hallway is lined with Secret Service agents. I don't know, the Australian FBI? I have no idea what's going on. And they're in the room across from me. They're in my buddy Streeter's room, and they're knocking on the door, and now we're coming down the hall. I live across from him. And I'm like, oh, we should go into my room, maybe. And we're like, what's going on, police? And they're like, just go in your room. We're looking for a gun. And we go in the room, and we're texting Damo. And Damo's like, oh, I had to call the cops, mate. I thought that was a real alert. So now the cops are across the hall looking for us. We know that there's no possible way the Australian authorities are going to believe that we were texting this guy because we came back with squirt guns, even though we were holding the squirt guns. We just weren't even going to take that chance. So what we did was we took our cell phones, we destroyed the SIM cards, we tossed those out the window, and we pretended like nothing ever happened. Crazy. That was a crazy experience. It was there was no malice, there was no ill will. We weren't really coming after my buddy Damo with a gun. We got a couple of squirt guns. We were looking for a good time, but culturally, we were in two completely different places. No matter how similar we thought the United States and Australia were to each other, there were some big differences that we really needed to pay attention to. And thank God we got out of that unscathed, but at no point in my experience in Australia, as I was taking classes or as I was working in the collections department of the National Australia Bank, did I feel like I didn't have the right to speak freely on campus or publicly. If I wanted to say something, I said it. If it was a different type of opinion, it was super respected, incredibly well respected, more well respected in Australia, a socialist country that had rights to public education and public health, than in the United States of America. And that was super interesting at the time.